Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run, Sunless Cell with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Nightstalker, Spectral Blades. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using Tina. Next, I'll be using the Glaive. For my exotic, I'll be using Heartshadow. This week, we're gonna go for Void Hunter, the power with Spectral Blades. Woo! And with the exotic Heartshadow. So right now, we still don't have barrier champions. All the champions will be unstoppable. So we are using Heartshadow, we are using the Catalyst, if anyone's wondering. And when you get the Catalyst, you get the additional 6 ammo. And you get a % of movement speed. Now I'm not sure the % of speed, but from what I read in Reddit, they say it's around 10% when holding the sword while invisible. You get 10% extra speed movement with the Hunter Invis. Or pretty much any character, but let's just go for Hunter since I'm on Hunter this week. So we're going to take down the Arcanite, then we're going to wait for the champion spawn. It's going to take a while. So usually I take down the Arcanite because, well, I don't really like him. He always does those ballerina twirls that I despise, just like champions. We're going to wait patiently for the unstoppable champion to spawn since there's no barriers. Eventually, the unstoppable champion will spawn any minute now. Any minute. Just gotta be patient. There he is. There's the champion. So when I do stagger the unstoppable champion, I switch to the Heartshadow sword, use heavy attack, and then just do little light attacks or just use a glaive after, and then use my finisher. I am using finisher so I can get a high chance of getting heavy ammo for the sword, pretty much. So we are taking down a bunch of thralls. You can skip them if you want to. But for this video, I didn't really skip a lot of ads, even though I could have done that, but I was just having way too much fun with the volatile rounds, with the glaive, and then with the exotic Heartshadow. So right now I'm going to consume the Yum Yums, or the power orbs, so we can get a extra 50% DPS buff. We're gonna just take down a wizard in one go. I mean, look at that. We took down the Bane and the wizard. And we're gonna take down Unstoppable Champion. Jesus Christ, I am going the Hunter power this week. But anyway, that is the Yum Yums, or the power orbs for this season. You get around 13 seconds, and make sure you switch to the white orb, the ambition, so it can be easier to deal with the Eye of Suffering or the Eye of Solaris. You know, Sonic 06 joke, by the way. Which is true. I feel like they got inspired. And we're going to take down the 3 wizards. So I usually do heavy attack, glaive, finisher. So we're going to do it again. So I'm going to turn invisible. Look at the fast movement for the catalyst. Heavy attack. Glaive, well, finisher. Glaive, and he fell down. Wizards sometimes don't cooperate. Let's try again. So glaive and then finisher, and you get special ammo. And we're gonna consume the Yum Yums. The orb, the white orbs for DPS. So we're gonna do heavy attack, and yeah, it's overkilled. And the reason why we one-shot it is because we were consuming the white orbs to get the high DPS buff. But we're gonna call them Yum Yums, even though we should call the Yum Yums on white orbs. or we can call them the power orbs. The power to do DPS. So we're gonna go to the next area, and I was a little slow here, but like I said, I was having too much fun. And there is some little mistakes I did that I should have done to switch not my loadout, but switch the recovery better for the boss fight, which I will talk about that very soon later on when we're at the final boss fight. So there is a unstoppable champion. I'm looking for him. He's just hiding. He's scared. It's a hunter. He got the Bang Nova. There he is. I'm gonna shoot the foot. But if I have to be really honest, if you're on Invis Hunter, I would try to get behind him or just double jump and then just shoot him in the head. These are the new versions of the Unstoppable Champions where they have a bigger shield, they block their critique shot, which is really annoying. So make sure when you turn invisible, you can shoot the foot, but if that doesn't work out, if you're invis, just jump over the head and just shoot it. They'll go behind him. So we're going to clear down all these surrounding ads. You don't really have to. If you want to speed around it, you can just go ahead and resume to take down the Blights. So there are snipers. I just want to clear all of them down. You don't have to. But I am going to take down the hobgoblins. And like I said before, you don't have to do this method. I'm just doing it for fun. I'm not really doing for a speed run for this week. We are going to clear down the next sniper. And for some reason it is a bang, so be aware that when there are a bang, it means they have a extra 35% health, which is really unfair. And I know for some players it's not a big deal, but when it's a mini boss, it's a big deal. Because they're more tanky, they have more health, and you waste more ammo. Basically. Anyway, something weird happened. For some reason, I did an air jump when I was taking down the Grim. So I don't know what happened there. It was kind of a weird bug. But anyway, we're gonna take down the Blight and then just resume and just take down these ads a bit. And you can see the catalyst. It makes your hunter, while holding the sword, run a bit more faster. I'm not sure the percent, especially when invisible while holding the Heartshadow. But my conspiracy, and from what people said on Reddit, they said it's around 10%. I could be wrong. But you can see the movement is a little bit more quicker with the catalyst. And it's really, really good. I really like it, especially with the catalyst for the Heartshadow. And you get +6 ammo, which is really great, especially when trying to spam the charge heavy attack with the sword. Because when you're using the sword, you do the heavy attack and you turn invisible. It's a win-win situation. Now I am using the glaive. I was just going for the glaive bubble. And we got the eyes of Solaris, or the suffocating terror eyes. So make sure you take down all the ads if you want to. And make sure you pick up the white orbs, the power orbs, or the yum yums. So I'm going to use my super. And luckily, the supplicator is not a bang. But you can see how much damage I'm doing. I am melting the boss. And yes, I am kind of messing up my super a bit. So I could have done more damage to the boss. I held back. So make sure you do as much damage as you can. And I did pull back a bit because it was shooting its crystals. See, the problem is if you are really close to the crystals, they can one-shot you. So that's one thing that worried about me when dealing with the supplicator. Another thing I could have done is pick up the orb again. There is one from the left side and I wasn't paying attention. So another thing you could do is you can pick up another orb. You could just leave it at the ground for a while and then just pick them up while doing DPS at the boss. So there's one on the left side. Jesus, why did I miss? Like I said, if I couldn't make this boss fight way more easier on myself and for everyone, I would just pick up the orb. And it is RNG. And from what I read on Reddit, they said that every 20 kills you can spawn the orb. But anyway, I did look at the orb and I think it's just a blight, so my bad. But anyway, if you do see a orb, pick it up and then just resume DPS. So we did take down the Supplicator and now we can just take down the surrounding Taken ads. We got the Taken Acolytes, or the Taken Scions, or the Taken Bunnies. We got a Bang here. It is called the Pumble, or the Unpunchable Bang, where you have to melee it. And melee on Hunter, especially on Void, is a pain. So using a melee on a glaive is going to be your best friend, but the problem is Bangs are RNG. You could deal with a Drainer. And for my run's always going to be different than other players' run, because you could have a Drainer or maybe a Hypernova or a Shocker, or worse, a Healer or a Drainer. I would say the worst of all could be a Healer. So just make sure you clear down all the ads, and then we're going to deal with the Eye of Suffering. We're going to use our heavy attack. And you can see this guy has a shield and his health is pretty big. So this mini boss has a lot of health, which is normal. There's always going to be a wizard that has a lot of health, or in other words, there's always going to be a wizard that is a Bane. And that's just one thing I like about these Banes. It's RNG. You never know which ones you're going to get. Now we're going to deal Unstoppable Champion. Shoot the foot. Because the Unstoppable Champion is upgraded. They upgraded the Unstoppable Champion. Or you can jump and just shoot the head of the Unstoppable Champion. Pretty much two ways, or you can go behind him if you are invis for Prismatic Hunter or Void Hunter, or pretty much a prismatic build with invis. You could just go behind him if shooting the foot is a big problem for you. So right now I'm just spamming finisher so I can get volatile surrounding, so I can get volatile from the enemies, and it's just gonna make my life easier. I mean, look at this. This is so broken, if I have to be honest, but it's good. Finally a hunter that I can spam volatile rounds and invis. And it is great. I really like this mini build. So I'm gonna take down the captains, and these captains can melt you. That is why I am using a glaive bubble. And they have their own bubble as well. But the good news is we have the sword. So you're gonna see very soon they're gonna use their bubble. They also like to use their strand attack. And you just have to be very careful with them because they melt and they sometimes just pop that bubble out of nowhere. So we're going to take down more of the Scions, the Acolytes, the Taken Bunnies. You can see dire Scions or Bunnies. And we're just going to spam finisher. And we have our super. Now I could use my super right now. So like I said, you could use your super if you want to. I didn't really use my super because I saw a Bang. And this guy is a Drainer. See? Stuff like that, I really despise it. You can see you can use Heartshadow. You can use your heavy glaive finisher. So always remember, when taking down a Bang or a wizard, use your heavy sword attack, glaive, and finisher, or 3 glaives, depending on the health of the boss, or mini major. So I am using the spectral blades, and I could have stayed more longer at the boss fight, but I was a little terrified by him because I was having bad experience of sometimes getting one shot, and I wanted to clear more ads, so I could have stayed longer of doing more DPS, so that's one mistake I could have done better for this run. So I'm going to clear more of the surrounding ads and pick up more of the void shards. And I see a yum yum, or the void power. And for some reason I got an exotic. Yay for me. And you can see so much damage, especially using this buff for this season. So we're gonna clear more of the ads since they spawn. And always remember, try your best to use your finishers so you can get volatile when using finisher. And then there is another orb that I could have consumed. So like I said, it's around every 20 kills from what I read. I could be wrong, but pretty much from what I see, it's around 20 kills you can get an orb. And you could just do so much damage. It's crazy. So during this part, if you have your super, just use your super. Now, I wasn't really paying attention about my super. I was just paying attention more of clearing all the ads. So I could have consumed that and then just use your super. And then just keep doing DPS at the boss as much as you can. And you can see I was a little too slow there. But I could have just quickly used my super and then just take down the boss. But yeah, Spectral Blades is really good. I'm just trying to do as much DPS as I can. And I could have done a little bit more, like extra 5%. Well, not 5%, extra 5 seconds DPS to the boss. But, you know, I wasn't really used to playing this style, but I wanted to try it out. Since Void Hunters are kinda, let's be honest, it's not looking good for this season. Alright, the Prismatic Hunters are pretty much the meta for this season. It's true, I mean, it's fun too. I mean, little wolves, cryo with the most light. I can't deny that. And pretty much Prismatic is the meta. So definitely try it out with the Prismatic meta as well. So now we're just going to spam a lot of sidearm. And yes, I am using double special, and I have to be really honest, I am not used to using double special. So I'm trying my best to get used to it, because I know double special is really can be good and efficient for solo runs. I'm just not used to it, but I wanted to just try it out and, you know, try my best to make it work for me. Because sometimes when I'm trying to switch weapons on my controller, it's just so slow and it's irritating. I mean, maybe that's why I don't like using double special. Maybe it's just me, you know. But now we're gonna go to the Sorrow. We got the bungee door, and then we got the pain door. We got the Sorrow of bungee, the Sorrow of pain. Which door? Left door? Gotta go to the bungee door, or we gotta go to the pain of sorrow door. But first things first, we're gonna take down the shriekers. So I'm just gonna turn invisible and just heavy attack them. Just gonna wait, take down the shrieker. Alright, who's next? We're gonna go to the other side. I don't really like that shrieker. It was looking at me kind of weird. I didn't like that, you know, it hurt my feelings. So we're gonna take him down instead of the other one. So I'm gonna wait and heavy attack. Alright, who's next? I don't like this shrieker. He's giving me a bad eye. Alright, I'm gonna take him down. And who's next? Who else can I one-shot with the Heartshadow? The Heartshadow of power. You know what? I don't really like this streaker over here. I mean, he's kind of like hiding, so we're just gonna heavy attack him too. There we go. And you know what? I don't really like this guy over here because he was just calling me out of me spamming my invis. And I'm gonna also take down this streaker because he's saying void hunters are awful and prismatics are better. And then I'm gonna try to take down this streaker too because he's saying the same thing. And the guy that call out prismatics better than hunter, like he's really angry, he's upset. So we're gonna take him down, and then we're gonna take down this guy because he doesn't like void hunters. There we go. I think we took down all the shriekers. And now, once we take down all the shriekers, we can take down the solo champions. When doing this method, make sure you have enough ammo for your heavy. That is why when I was taking down the ogre, I didn't really spam my heavy. And I wanted to make sure I had enough heavy to take down all the shriekers, because the shriekers are going to be your worst enemy, especially when you are dealing with this room and double special. And with the sword you must do heavy attack close range. So we are taking down several champions and the surrounding ads. I was just clearing them down. I could have just staggered and solo champion and then used my super, so that was another mistake that I could have done better. But, you know, things happen. So I'm gonna consume this and we're gonna take down several champions. Like, please. The footman, why? So, what I should have done there is I should have just turned invisible and then jump over them and then stagger them, then use my heavy. So yeah, this is just ridiculous. Really hate the upgrades. What else are they gonna do? Are they gonna upgrade the barrier champion, make the barricade way more bigger? Is that what they're gonna do? Or are they gonna make the barrier champions block, you know, their precision shot with their arm or something, so I can't get them? But yeah, this is another method you can do. You can just jump over them a bit, shoot them, and then just stagger them. So we're gonna go take down more of these surrounding ads. We're gonna take our sweet time because why not? It's just really fun going with the glade build and just popping ballerina finishers. I was trying to debate of which door, the door of Bungie or the door of sorrow or the door of pain. You know, it was a really tough decision for me. You know, I have to go for my gut for this, my hunch. Gotta go for the door of Bungie. You know, the door of Bungie seems like the best luck for me. And we got this guy, this person guarding Bungie. Alright, there we go. We're gonna take down the door of Bungie. And Jesus, so this method over here, this spot is really good, but it's not that great for a rocket sidearm. So if you are using kinetic tremors of little wolves, you know, let's just pretend I'm using a meta exotic, then that spot would be perfect to deal with this boss. So this boss is going to be really, really tanky, so I'm going to do a mini time skip here. So what I did here is I just spam my sidearm, and then I use my heavy charge attack on the sword to deal with this boss. After spending 3 minutes of my life, you can use a charge attack for the sword. Just make sure your health is full health to do this method. I wasn't able to spam my heavy a lot because my recovery is low. It's 2 tier. If I switch my recovery more higher, then doing this method would have been way more faster and efficient. And that's just something I should have done for the boss fight, which is a big bummer. And I was planning to switch my loadout a bit, but I changed my mind. I thought, you know what, let me just upload this version. So I'm going to double jump, stagger the boss, and try to take him down. Alright, he's acting very weird. Let's try again. Let's get behind him. Let's do a heavy attack. Let's just harass this unstoppable champion. Ballerina twirl and get the bungee out of here. I am done. I'm skipping this bridge. You know, if you're on Prismatic Hunter with Invis or any Invis for any classes, just turn invisible and get the bungee out of here. It's a waste of time. Waste of time. Going to be spamming the sword. And for some reason, the bridge made me not turn invisible. I don't know why. So we're going to turn invisible. Just be careful with the surrounding ads. They're probably looking for you. Like, where's the Guardian? Where did he go? Or where did she go? Rally the flag and then just start the boss fight. So this is going to be the first phase of the boss fight. And I had some issues with the boss fight, and I'm going to be answering a lot of questions. So the first question, why didn't I use the heavy attack at the boss fight? The reason why I didn't spam it a lot for this boss fight is because, one, my recovery is not high. It's tier 2, it's not tier 7 or higher. Number 2, sometimes when you are doing the heavy attack with the sword, which I know it does a lot of damage, sometimes the boss one-shots you. And it's really irritating. So that's the reason why I didn't spam the heavy attack. And yes, you can get behind him, but then sometimes he does that slam attack where he just can one-shot you. And it was just really annoying to the point where I just wanted to play safe. You know, I was just getting bad luck and I just didn't want to bother myself doing a run again. I mean, I get a good clean run. I'm spamming my heavy with the Heartshadow and then I get one shot from the boss because, I don't know, luck. Because of luck, or maybe because I need to put high recovery for this method to work. But that's basically what happened when I was trying to do the spam Heartshadow heavy method. And it does work. You just need to have a little bit more high recovery. But, you know, I wish you the best of luck. But I'm just telling you, sometimes I get one shot from the boss when I'm trying to do that method. And that's just me. I just get bad luck, and I always had. So we're gonna take down the wizards because the Eye of Suffering spawned. And we're just gonna use our heavy attack. And of course our glaive. So remember, heavy attack, glaive, finisher. Heavy attack right now. Glaive and finisher. Now the reason why I didn't use a glaive and you didn't use finisher was because the boss was there. Now for the Bane's gonna be probably a couple of heavy attacks. So just be very careful. And you can see the boss is spawning and he's just being very awkward. Yeah, during this phase, the boss likes to teleport close to you. So just be very careful. And this is why when going for this phase, you use your super, you know, for other subclasses. And this is why you must take down the wizards fast, because the boss, for some reason, it teleports as close as they can during that mini phase. I don't know why, but it just happens. So now we're gonna have the blistering mod. We're gonna do high DPS, so you can see the damage. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. Now if I had limit break artifact mod, I could have done way more damage. So that's another thing you could do. You can switch to limit break to do more damage with your spectral blades. I didn't do that for this because I was having trouble with the champions and I just wanted to have more DPS with the champions than the boss. And plus, you know, why not? You know, arc surges, usually it's nice to have bulk charge. Alright, so now we're going to do some precision shots at the boss. So something weird happened when dealing with this boss, and it was just really silly. I mean, I really don't believe it, but you're going to believe it now. I was doing like a couple of precision shots around 5 and he keeps disappearing. 5 shots, disappearing. 5 shots, disappearing. I don't know why he does that. He never behaved like this before. Maybe it's because of the stasis chill clip. I'm not sure. But it was just really awkward. You can see 3, 4, 5, and then he disappears. So I'm not sure why he was behaving like that. I was just trying to get my precision shots so I can do more DPS and save ammo so I don't have to waste too much of my glaive for the next phase. So yeah, this is gonna take a while. Now I am gonna save my super for this next phase, so I'm not gonna use it for the boss fight right now. So yeah, how's everyone going? Everyone having fun with the Sunless Cell? Everyone having fun carrying blueberries on this GM? Alright, so we're gonna take down, this may take a while, so I just want you guys to suffer. So for some reason, the sidearm is just making the boss behave weird. It never really acts like this. Usually, especially with La Monarch, you just keep doing precision shots and he doesn't disappear. But for some reason with the sidearm, he was just acting very weird. I mean, look at this guy. Okay, so he doesn't disappear when I'm using the glaive. Very awkward. So we're going to use heavy attack. Be careful with these wizards. These wizards can hurt you. That is why I was using a glaive bubble, so I can not get melted dealing with the wizards. So I did try to use the heavy attack, but unfortunately it wasn't working out. They were acting very weird. The attacks are ridiculous, so I highly recommend just use the glaive bubble. Don't even bother yourself using the heavy attack for the sword. So once we clear down all the ads, and one thing I should have done is not pick up the orb. I should have waited, should have left it and used it later. So now we're gonna go for the next phase. This phase is gonna be tough because since my recovery is not high, it's gonna take longer for me to do DPS at the boss. So first things first, I'm gonna look for the unstoppable champion. He's gonna be around here. There he is. He's just appearing out of nowhere. So we're gonna be using spectral blades. Try our best to clear a couple of ads. And I was trying to spectral blade this champion, but yeah, it's like I said, it's really hard to control spectral blades sometimes, not all the time. But for some reason, for that situation, I was trying to shoot the champion, but it was just going to a different direction, and it was just really weird. But it's okay, I mean, nobody's perfect. So we're gonna take down the unstoppable champion. I mean, I'm trying to shoot the foot, but he's just not cooperating. And yes, so the boss likes to shoot Void Blast and Fire. And the Void Blast is very dangerous, and the Stomp. I forgot about that. So it does 3 things. It likes to shoot Void, which is deadly. I know for this video it doesn't look deadly, it looks harmless, but trust me, the Void attack is really bad. And the only reason this run for the boss behaving not as aggressive is because we have invis. Without invis, the boss is way more aggressive of shooting its void attack. And because you're invis, it just gets confused and shoots something else or whatever spot you turn invisible. So I'm just giving you a heads up, especially if you are on an Arc Titan during the second phase. And it's all about movement. Behind the barricade and movement, or behind this mini wall platform to deal with the boss, or for Warlock if you are not on invis. So I am using the heavy attack, and it's gonna take me a while because my recovery is not fast. I mean, look at my recovery, it's so slow. Jesus. See, that's one thing I could have done better. I could have switched to a better recovery to deal with this boss. But, you know, it is what it is, right? So make sure you have decent recovery so your health can regain faster and you can just spam your heavy attack. That was just one thing I messed up when I was doing this run. And he also likes to stomp out of nowhere randomly when you are in Viz too, so just be very careful when the boss is behaving very awkward. So I'm gonna wait patiently. You know, hopefully we can cooperate and he can behave and I can use my heavy attack and then use my spectral blades. But yeah, look at the damage we're doing with Heartshadow. I mean, it is unfortunate that my recovery is not the best for this. And if it was higher, it would have been better. But yeah, notice the boss is shooting at something else. It's because of invisible. Turning invisible makes this boss a joke. Alright, I repeat that. Having an invis build, any invis, even prismatic, makes this boss a joke. Without invis, this boss is extremely dangerous, very aggressive. And I'm not joking or over exaggerating. If you don't believe me, just go on my Titan video. Go on my Titan video, you'll see that I was having a hard time dealing with the boss because he was spamming the void attack non-stop. He just didn't give me a break. Now I know for this footage he's giving me a break. I mean, look at this. He's not even paying attention to me. Anyway, I'm just being super honest right now that the boss behaves completely different when you have an invis. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Because when I was on my Titan, I was just having a hard time dealing with the second phase. But for this run on Hunter or Prismatic Hunter or Prismatic Titan, let's just pretend, you know, with invis, any invis, it's just different. It's like a 180 turn. And I'm just so shocked. I'm so surprised that this boss behaves so different than the last time I encountered this boss with a arc build with Titan. So I am going to consume the orb power, and then once we do that, we should be able to do DPS at the boss. And yes, what a waste of the power. And yes, he is doing ballerina twirls. We should get a Swarmer as an unstoppable champion. So right now I'm just hiding behind this mini wall and we're gonna go look for him. So where is the champion? Where is he? I dare you. I dare you to melee me. Alright, there we go. But you can see Bolt Charge did so much damage to the unstoppable champion. That's why I used it, because the champions were just annoying to deal with for this boss fight. And that's just me. I'm pretty sure once I'm a little bit more high power level, I won't really need it and I can use something else. But for now, I'm using Flashover with the artifact mod to get Bolt Charge. Well, max Bolt Charge. Alright, let's shoot the foot. Come on. Please, Glaive. No aim assist. No console aim assist. Alright. We're gonna pull back. I'm gonna try to get behind him this time. There we go. Finisher. And then back away because the boss is behaving weird. And I was really hoping the boss or the champion can drop a orb. You know, the orb power or the yum yums. So we can consume it and then do high DPS. But oh well, guess that's not gonna happen. So this is gonna take a while, so I do apologize. So if you want a efficient run, then you probably need to boost up your recovery to make it work of spamming the heavy. This was my first time of being at the boss fight. I didn't really thought about having the recovery more higher. So this was pretty shocking for me, but you know, I'm not perfect. And he keeps doing this ballerina twirls. It's kind of creepy. He never behaves like this. He never did this on my Titan run. It is so bizarre. But anyway, we are using Spectral Blades. We're going to try to do as much damage as we can. As much damage as we can. And yes, I could have done more damage, but I was just terrified by him. I was scared, alright? It's my first boss fight. Alright? My first boss fight for Hunter. And I'll be honest with you, I really didn't want to do this on Hunter. I was actually wanting to do this on Warlock, but I changed my mind. I thought, you know what, let's do a Hunter run. Let's see the power, and let's see if this boss behaves differently when you have invis. And he does. He behaves not so aggressive as I thought he would. And it's crazy. I mean, look at this. I mean, he behaves so different. Like right now he's just shooting the floor. He's just going ballerina twirls because of my invis, because of the exotic that I'm using as well. It's crazy. I mean, I thought I was making jokes about bigger champion doing ballerina twirls. You know, I think this boss does more twirls than a bigger champion. I mean, he's a master of it. I'm not joking, I'm serious. He's doing a lot of twirls here. He's just done it like 5 times. And it's really creepy. So anyway, we're gonna do DPS with the glaive, and then we're just gonna take him down and get platinum rank. Platinum rank, finally. We got platinum rank. We use Heartshadow. We use a glaive, double special, and we got some loot. And I got confused because, well, I could have done a better run. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.